Let's talk about another beautiful coaching job, and I saw you talking a little bit. How about Pete Carroll in the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, I love it.
Now, Drew Lock had that magical moment that he'll remember forever, in a moment I think that reminded him that he is still the guy. Even though he hasn't played in a while, he had an opportunity to showcase if he was still the guy, and he said, yeah, I'm still the man. Yeah, that is great to know. But I think the Pete Carroll, we don't talk because he's on the left coast over there. They're in the Niners division. So it's not a lot of conversation, and it's rude by us, how they say.
Sure.
It's very rude by us. But Pete Carroll answer it. Is that Pete? Who is that, Bill?
No.
A rap song?
That would have been awesome if you just answered that. It was Bill Belichick. Hey, Bill!
That was Sopranos. That was the Sopranos theme. That's my ringtone. So that's what it is.
Hey, Tommy DeVito has a shelf life.
It was either The Godfather or The Sopranos. That wasn't going to be hard to predict. Anyway, it was The Godfather. I changed it.
Older coach. Well, you got to go from one to the other, and maybe we get a little Family Guy Italian next. You know what I mean? These are all really.
No.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't know what Italian sounds we want to go. But anyways, shout out, love the Paisano. It's got a horn underneath the shirt here. But we never talk about Andy Reid. Obviously, older. Yeah. Successful head coach. Mm-hmm. This guy's a GOAT. Bill Belichick, obviously. This guy is the GOAT. Pete Carroll, been coaching a long time, and he never gets brought up in the conversation of, greatest coaches. He never bitches about it, obviously. He just kind of shows up each week. Why do you think we don't talk enough about Pete Carroll, and what do you think it is about Pete Carroll that always has his team kind of in it?
Well, I think a lot of it is the fact that, Pete, some of the betting world, and having working at VEASAN and being around it, the betting world takes a lot of shots at Pete for his game management. Don't think he's a great coach. But when I was doing Football Done Right, and I set the criteria, to me, Pete's a Hall of Fame coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He's won a Super Bowl. He's won a lot of games in Seattle. He's built the program, and his childlike enthusiasm for what he does is remarkable. And his excitement, and he's able to kind of get the players to play, and they've had to change over the roster. I think John Schneider does a great job as a general manager. So, I don't think he gets enough credit for really being a great coach, being able to make hard decisions. He's had to change the staff a few times. Look, he's had to go through quarterbacks, and he went through the Russell Wilson thing, and now he's got Locke. But that win the other night was remarkable, going 97 yards against an Eagle team that you thought was going to be able to take the game over at that point and make a couple plays. And yet, Pete, I think what he said in the locker room after the game is so true about football, right? Football is never won in the first quarter. It's never won in the second quarter or the third. You got to win the game in the fourth quarter. And they did. Whereas last night, what you said earlier, the Saints were never in that game. But when you look at the game book and you see Carr's stats and you say, oh, wow, he had a good night. No, he really didn't. He didn't play well until the fourth quarter. And that's when you have to play your best, and I think that's what Pete talked about.
Yeah, the score, they still covered. If they backdoor there.
Man.
91% of the money was on the Rams last night.
It was unbelievable. When that happens, Pat, I always feel like, on paper, there's no way the Saints were going to win that game. Everything you broke down, the Saints weren't going to stop the run, especially when McVay is, when you go against McVay, you got to be really good defensively. But yet, with the money kept pouring in on the Rams and the line wasn't moving, you're saying something's going on here. What's happening? Yeah, exactly. It was going towards the Saints. I kept hearing, a lot of pro services, where they can move a number. We're on the Saints, but that's the same thing that happened last week in Washington. Everybody was on Washington last week, which I couldn't understand how that could even be possible. But yet, if Rivera goes for the 2-point play, they could have covered.
Raiders, too, last Thursday, everybody was on Raiders over Chargers for whatever reason. That was a gift. We're just in the time, right? Hey, it's holiday season.
Yeah, love it.
No matter what God you believe in, we're celebrating something.
Bingo.
Okay? This particular time of year. And the football gods said, you know what? We're in. Here you go.